This video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet, a slim front pocket wallet available in carbon fiber and titanium. With more than 250,000 sold, a lifetime guarantee and free shipping, get 10% off with the code GOLDFISH at ridgewallet.com. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Tuesday means it's Type 2 or Standard Tuesday. And today, we're doing something kind of a little bit different. Normally on Instant Deck Techs, I'm scrapping around to find like the weirdest, least known deck possible. Things that I think are spicy or different. Well, today's deck isn't that spicy or that different. You might have heard of it already. It's Mono Blue Tempo. However, I think this is a really important deck for us to talk about for, well, a couple of reasons. First off, it's $53, and this build from Scott Ruggiero actually top aided a big event. This is a legitimate Magic deck that is top aiding like SCG events and so forth. So if you are looking to be as spiky and competitive in Standard and spend as little money as possible in Standard, this is a really good option. This is like a tier 1 deck that falls into our ultra budget price range. $53 in paper, 13 tricks on Magic Online. So even though it's not the craziest deck, it's really important for people to know about because we talk about budget Magic all the time, playing Magic on the cheap, and this is like the cheat code. If you want to try to win a GP and spend as little money as possible, this is the deck to go for right now in Guilds of Ravnica Standard. Also, because it's so cheap, lots of people are playing it, so you're going to run into this deck. So it's good to know what it's doing, what its game plan is, not just for playing with it, but in case you play against it. So that's our plan for today, Mono Blue Tempo for Standard. A quick reminder before we break down the deck. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Mono Blue Tempo, the most important card of this deck is Curious Obsession. Curious Obsession is the card that makes this deck work. It is so good and so important. So I haven't played with this deck, not the current version. I think we've played similar decks in the past. Have not played with this current version though. I've played against it a bunch of times, and the way this deck works is if you can get a Curious Obsession on your creature and draw a couple cards with it, you are very favored to win the game because the way the deck is built, once you start getting in those hits with Curious Obsession and drawing more cards, you're drawing into ways to protect your creature with Curious Obsession. Different like combat tricks, different counter spells, so it just snowballs from there into more creatures, more protection, more Curious Obsessions, and you really just spiral that advantage into a victory. So if you're playing the deck, make sure that you are smart and careful with this card. You want to get it down early, but you also want to protect it, because if you can keep attacking with a creature with Curious Obsession, you're probably going to win. On the other hand, if you're playing against the deck, deal with the Curious Obsession creature. That is what the battle is about. If you can keep your opponent from hitting you more than one time with a creature enchanted with Curious Obsession, you are heavily favored to win the game. The deck just kind of falls apart if it doesn't have that card advantage, because their creatures aren't all that powerful, and they're going to run out of their ways to protect the creature. So this is the card that the battle is all about. So what the deck is trying to do is get Curious Obsession on a Mistcloak Herald or a Siren Stormtamer, whatever. Mistcloak Herald is kind of the best because it's just straight up unblockable. So you play it on turn 1, turn 2, you can Curious Obsession, maybe leave up a spell to protect it so you don't get blown up by removal, and then you just start drawing a card, hitting for 2, drawing a card, hitting for 2, finding more and more cards, more protection to spiral that advantage into a victory. Siren Stormtamer, nice backup with Curious Obsession, also does double duty as a protection spell, since let's say you get your Curious Obsession on a Mistcloak Herald, you can use your Storm Tamer as just like a counter spell to protect your Mistcloak Herald or whatever is wearing Curious Obsession from a removal spell. So you start drawing all these cards, and what you're drawing into is ways to protect your Curious Obsession creature. So one of these, probably the least powerful but the most efficient, is Dive Down. So just 1 mana, pumps a creature's toughness, but most importantly gives it hexproof. So if you play a mystical carrot on turn 1, turn 2 you go to put Curious Obsession on it, your opponent goes to shock it or whatever to kill it, Dive Down is a way for just 1 mana to save the creature. And then you also draw into a ton of counter spells. Wizard's Retort, the deck has a reasonable number of wizards, so it's often just a straight up counter spell in Standard. Spell Pierce, another good protection tempo spell. Essence Scatter to deal with opposing creatures. So as you're drawing these cards, you're drawing more ways to protect your creature, and eventually all those cards, all that advantage is going to let you tempo your opponent out of the game. The big finisher for the deck is Tempest Shin. Usually comes down on like turn 4, turn 5, so you can leave up protection as you are playing it, and then it just closes out the game in a couple of attacks, giving you a way to just kill your opponent before they can draw through all the counters you're drawing. Found enough removal spells to fight through your stuff. Otherwise, Merfolk Trickster, kind of like a removal creature. Actually, all these creatures, Exclusion Mage, Warkite Marauder as well, are kind of like removal on a stick that work really well with the tempo plan. Trickster comes in, taps something down, can get some weird blowouts by removing all abilities. Exclusion Mage, just a bounce creature. Warkite Marauder, another flyer that works well with Curious Obsession, plus it's a way you can keep attacking through opposing flyers. If your opponent has a Rekindling Phoenix, you just make it into a 0/1 with no ability, so you can still keep hitting and hitting and hitting. So combining these creatures with our counters and our card draw, and Tempest Shin is our big finisher, gives us a way to just kind of like annoy our opponent until we're able to win the game. Otherwise, Night Veil Spray, another backup flyer, a little bit of card filtering, surveilling to get rid of extra lands, find our Curious Obsessions, find our counters. Chart of Course, sometimes card draw, sometimes card filtering, but another way to just keep churning through our deck. Mana base, 21 islands, good for our Tempest Shins. In the sideboard, we get Syncopate, Negate, and Disdainful Stroke. Ways to customize our counters. Syncopate, way better on the play than the draw. Negate for the control matchups. Disdainful Stroke for big things. Then we have Sleep and Diamond Mare, which is kind of for the creature matchup. Sleep is sort of like a double fog, essentially, for 4 mana, keeping your opponent's attacker tap down for 2 turns, buying you some time to keep attacking. Diamond Mare for some life gain. Sentinel Totem to deal with graveyard decks, and that is Mono Blue Tempo, the cheapest competitive deck at Guilds of Ravnica Standard. And that's our instant deck for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.